Hi, I'm Jim Voigt. I'm the pastor at Weston United Methodist Church and the president of the Ministerial Alliance. And if you're watching this video, it's very likely that you are a leader of a person of influence within your congregation, within your church. And I want to thank you for taking the time to hear me present an opportunity for our community. Uh, we are blessed with this community. It's really, truly, uh, there's something very different that is happening here. The relationship that we as pastors and ministers and priests have with one another is a good connection, different from a lot of the different communities that I've been within. The way that we share with one another our lives, the way that we minister to one another, um, the deep desire that we all have for our community, for the Christian community, and the Christian community here is blessed as well. The type of connection that you all have to one another, the way you all care for one another. Weston is a fantastic place, a blessed place. I want to take an opportunity to tell you about a ministry uh, that our church is desiring to lead. That's going to be a connecting ministry, and it's going to be a worship service of sorts. And this new worship opportunity is going to be called Renew. Renew will be a once a month endeavor that we hope begins in the fall. And Renew's primary purpose is about physical and spiritual healing. That we believe in Jesus Christ, that Jesus Christ was about the ministry of healing and helping others and preaching this gospel. And what we want to do is we want people to know that the power of Jesus Christ is still active in this world. And we want to pray for folks who need physical healing, that are struggling with cancer, with long-term health problems, with short-term health problems. We want to pray for folks that need emotional healing, for those folks in our community that are struggling through divorce, that are maybe having some type of personal crisis, that are experiencing some type of loss in their lives. And we want to create this service, this renew opportunity for folks to be able to come and to receive prayer, and not just, hey, we're praying for you, but hands-on prayer, a hands-on ministry where we would provide an opportunity for people to come forward during the service, during the worship, that there would be folks there that would lay hands on folks, that would ask them specifically for what's their prayer need, and that they would receive the laying on of hands, that they would receive a powerful prayer in the name of Jesus Christ, and that we would believe in Christ's ability to do these things. And that's our hope and desire for this service. Structurally, how we see this happening, is people would come into this worship space, that there would be a short time of uplifting worship. The type of worship that we're looking at now is more of a contemporary format, an instrumentation format, and we're hoping that this will connect more with people within our community that are likely unchurched, which is our desire too, is that this is not just for folks that are active in churches in our community, but this is for folks that don't belong to churches, that we wish would. These are our friends, our neighbors, the people that we love, that we're in relationship with. This is another opportunity. This is maybe even a greater opportunity to connect them. And so that's why we're doing that type of worship venue. And so they would hear a song or two uplifting. And then we're hoping for some type of testimony about God's ability to heal and work in people's lives. People that we would kind of pick out ahead of time, that we would talk to, that would come up and talk about how God helped heal them, about how God helped work them through a difficult divorce in their lives, how God helped work them through cancer and through some type of healing they might have received. You've talked to people, you've met people that have all kinds of uh, good, positive testimonies about how God is still working, how God is still active. And there's something to hearing that story that builds our faith, that encourages our faith. And sometimes this might be a pastor, and sometimes it might be a layperson. It might be an individual within our churches, maybe a church outside of our community. Although I think we would prefer someone from within the community to come up and to share this story 10 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It just depends upon who the individual is and how comfortable they are sharing. No doubt pastors would be available to help coach and support these folks. But we envision this person coming up and sharing this good news and then letting people know that the good news is that power is available for all of us. And what we would do from that point is enter into a time of worship where we would have folks come down front who have been trained from your church, from my church, from other churches in the community. And these folks would come down and we would just let people know we're going to worship for about the next 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. And if you want to come down and receive prayer for whatever struggle that you're going through, whatever place in your life you need healing, that these folks aren't going to judge that. They're just here to pray for you. So that's what we would enter into, is this time where people would come forward and receive hands-on healing prayer. We would worship. We would go to God in this way. And at the end, we would wrap up and just thank people for coming. Probably a very positive, kind of uplifting song. And we would invite people to all of our different churches. We would probably have a flyer on hand that says, hey, here's all the churches in town. Here's all their services. And if you have come to this and you don't belong to a church, we welcome you. We invite you to attend any one of our Sunday morning services. And I see this format being pretty structured, being pretty familiar. And we wouldn't deviate from it too much because we want to create something that is reliable to people, that they're not going to come back from month to month and go, oh, that was a little bit different from last time. And so that's why we're really trying to encourage the use of ecumenical teams in this, that this wouldn't be the Methodist Church leading it one month and then the Baptist Church leading it the next month and the Catholic Church leading it the next month. But this would be something that everyone would participate in, that we would have a team leader from each church, that team leader would do training. And we kind of envision 3 teams at this point. We envision a worship band team, we envision a hospitality team, and we envision a prayer team. And that each of these 3 teams would have leaders from the different churches, and that they would do the training and the organizing, and that you have folks in your churches that would want to be on part of these. And so that way each month you're seeing kind of the same teams of folks leading things. You don't have a completely different worship band up there. You have a very similar worship band. You have similar people kind of shaking your hand at the front door and welcoming you and kind of handing you a little flyer with some different information. You've got kind of some similar people up front praying together, praying with the folks there. And so those are the teams that we see constructed around this worship opportunity of Renew. It would happen once a month. Right now we're kind of foreseeing Sunday evenings at the beginning of each month being that time. We may have our first one, however, at the end of August, because the first weekend in September is Labor Day weekend, or Memorial Day. Sometimes I get those turned around. But we see it being that once a month time, that first Sunday of the month. The big thing in this is going to be a little bit different, that we are hoping will appeal to more, once again, of some folks that aren't going to church, is we are doing the best we can to try to get into the creative arts center of the school. And I will actually be going to the school board meeting next month. We presented the information to be given a little more than a month ago, but because of some important things that the board's been trying to wrap up, we've been kind of pushed on the agenda to May. And so I'll go and do this. And what we're hoping is that we can actually do this within our school. And so folks that are dropping their kids off, that aren't coming to church, would go, hey, yeah, we'd come to the school and see something like this, these churches working together. doing something in the school. We want to come, and I've been in the amphitheater before, the Creative Arts Center, and sure, I'd go check that out. And so that's where we're trying to have this. We're hoping to have it in kind of a community neutral location, and we're hoping that that new facility will draw some folks. Uh, this is a grand vision. This is a big vision. It's got to be something that we all desire. It's got to be something that we all feel like we're a part of. And really, the goal of this is to bring new folks in. The goal of this is that Christ would unleash His power on His people and on this community. That a year from now we might have some incredibly amazing stories about some people that maybe weren't connected to a church and showed up at something like this, and God just got a hold of them. God helped heal. He helped heal emotionally, helped heal relationships, and those will be testimonies that in the future will show up at our Renew. But they'll be testimonies at your churches. Those will be people that'll hopefully be stand up in your churches someday and talking about how God got a hold of them because of this event. That all the Christians in the community of Weston says, you know what, we're gonna do this together. This is what we're about. This is an opportunity to minister to our community and to minister together, and to be able to do that, I believe, is something completely unique that we kind of rarely randomly see in other communities. And I would even dare to say that we even more randomly see it on a regular basis. This is something we're talking about doing monthly, that we're talking about doing together. Not something that like a revival where we do it once and it's done and we no longer connect. We hope this has long-term roots, and we really need to evaluate this. We will evaluate it in a year, and we will ask ourselves, look, is this fulfilling the purpose that we have created it for, that we have desired for it? And we'll have to be honest with each other. If it's not really fulfilling the purpose, if we don't see people in our community connecting to this, if we don't see people in our own churches receiving the strong power of Christ upon them in healing and beneficial ways, then it's something that we may not do anymore because we are doing this with a purpose. And so this is me just asking you to think about this, to pray about this. Is this something that you could support? Is this something that we're going to trust one another on? Because frankly, the Christian community, sometimes there's a lot of distrust. We struggle with trust. And so this is a great opportunity for us to trust one another. You likely have questions that I did not answer. You likely have more questions as a result of this. I want to encourage you to feel free to call me, to email me. It's very likely you're watching this because I was gone the week of your board administrative meeting. So please talk to your pastor or minister or priest and just ask them for my contact information, my cell phone, my email address. Drop by the church. I'd love to talk to you. I'm just going to ask you to pray about this. I'm going to ask you as your boards and committees to pray about it as a church. And if you're on board, let's really get on board. Let's really begin to pray about this and to believe that God is going to do something exceptionally unique in the community of Weston through the ministry of Renew, the worship that will happen at Renew. So thank you for taking the time during your board meeting to watch this and to pray about it, and I look forward to hopefully talking with you very soon. Have a fantastic week.